Cirillo is the first one to move up and challenge Silver Operator. Deeper out is the red and white colours of Rainbow Bridge. He's starting to get going. Bulgarian is being given a few cracks and now being asked for an effort. Jet Dark down the inside is absolutely flying. Rainbow Bridge stand side meantime has hit the front, but Jet Dark, the 3-year-old, is giving lots of cheek. Bulgarian getting going late, but it's Jet Dark that comes home to win it from Rainbow Bridge in second. Bulgarian in third. Then came Do It Again, followed by Cirillo, Silver Operator, Sovereign Spirit, and Hurricane.
Yeah, hello racing fans, and it's a welcome to the Gold Circle TV preview show for Saturday, Queen's Plate Festival, Friday and Saturday. But we'll be previewing the 4 feature races, the top liners on Saturday, and those feature races will be race number 5, which will be the Glorious Goodwood Premier's Trophy, which is a Group 2. We then move on to the Cartier Paddock Stakes, which is a Group 1 for the fillies, and then the big one. The main event for Saturday will be the Lomarans Queen's Plate Weight for Age race, one of the most prestigious weight for age races in the country. It is the Group 1, and it is the top liner, the main event for the weekend. And then we'll also preview race number 10, which is the Okapi Champions Cup for the stayers over 2,500 meters, and that is a Group 3. And we just saw the running of last year's race 2021, and what a win it was from the 3-year-old Jet Dark, beating Rainbow Bridge, Bulgarian, and Do It Again. And joining me for Saturday's preview will be Raheel. Raheel, did you watch last year's race?
Yes, I did. I was a bit disappointed that Jet Dark did win because I'm a Rainbow Bridge fan, but it was a cracking race.
Yeah, you know, for the 3-year-old to step up to that class and win that Group 1, it was a massive scalp for him. Arguably his best win of his career.
Yes, no doubt about that. He had 55 on his back, so he received quite a bit of weight, which did help his chances there.
And he's here to defend his crown today. We're going to come to the Queen's Plate a bit later on, but nice to see him take his place again and try to make it back-to-back wins.
Yes, absolutely, and there's no doubt that he's going to be right at the finish. He looks like a nice horse, and I'm looking for a nice race.
Yeah, he's a talented individual, Jet Dark, and we saw him win before jetting back to Cape Town, which was the Champions Cup, of course, closing off his KZN campaign as well. Okay, we are going to begin with race number 5, which is the Glorious Goodwood Premier Trophy. It's over 1,800 meters. And in this race, well, there's an absolute standout if you're a best weighted column follower and on form as well. I think first up, Raheel, how do you see the race? You know, there is some form to work around. 10 runners go to post. Is Do It Again an absolute standout for you?
Yes, DZ does look to be the horse that they all have to set their sights on. Cracking comeback run when just touched off by Rascallion, and I think that he's going to take a power of beating. He's had 3 tries over the distance and he's yet to win, but in all 3 efforts he's been beaten under a length. And I think that Do It Again, he receives weight from quite a few in this race. Anton Marcus will be looking to record his 2nd career victory upon Do It Again. He won the July, which was the only win, and hopefully he can win this Glorious Goodwood Premier Trophy, which is a great tool.
I'm glad that you mentioned Anton's only win on him, which was the 2018 Vodacom Durban July, because it was Anton's most important. You know, Anton will tell you, all my Vodacom Durban July wins are most important, but that was the win that set the standard from him being the best jockey in the Vodacom Durban July. I say the best jockey because he's won it 5 times. Del Pesh has won it 4. Pierre Stradom has won it 4. And Tiger Wright has won it 4. So when he won on Do It Again, he actually won it for the 5th time, setting the record. Now, Do It Again, you mentioned he's a dual Vodacom Durban July winner. It's really nice to see the way Justin Snate has, just kept this horse enjoying racing, loving the game, because we saw fresh legs last time out. He's a 7-year-old. We must not be mistaken, Raheel. He's a 7-year-old, but his run last time out, he made a determined challenge with Rascallion.
Yes, he really tried hard on that occasion. I think you can forgive him for getting beaten. It was his first run after rest, whereas Rascallion did have racing fitness on his side. But Do It Again, he's going to strip a much fitter horse in this lineup, and honestly, it does look to be one of the better bets on the card.
I would say so. The best weighted column clearly points to him. He's 11 pounds superior to the second best, which is Sovereign Spirit, which is 5.5 kgs. 1800 meters, no issue. If you look at his distance record, he's had 3 stars, he's had a second, he's had a third, and he's had a fourth. Anything from 1200 to 2000 meters, he'll run his heart out. And this race, I think Justin Snate would have had a look at the program, building him up to the World Sports Betting Met this year. This looked to be the ideal race. Why take on the big guns who he'll meet in the Met for the Lomarans Queen's Plate? This looked to be the race for him, and I think he could be, just primed to perfection on the day. And we know that Justin Snate, he targets his runners for the big meetings, the festival, Friday and Saturday. He's got so many runners, and you'd only expect the best from Justin to have his runners tuned to the minute. Rael, we in the camp of do it again. I'm sure like the majority out there who are going to take a chance and anchor him in the exotics as well. For the minor positions, do you see anything troubling him for one, or do you have a second, third, and fourth?
I don't think any horse in this lineup could give him a good go for his money. I do like a bit of the 9-horse Hoedspruit as a horse that could possibly fill out that exacta position. Maybe play a few exacta swingers would do it again. He's a 4-year-old son of Legislate. Last time out, he may have just needed his run in Cape Town after coming back from PE. He ran 6 behind Fire Alley. He does drop 2 kg, so he only carries 58, and he is the best runner out of that form line. He's best weighted out of that form line. And I think that he's going to go well in this lineup. 3 tries over the course and distance for one win, 1 fourth. So Hoedspruit will be my value horse in the race.
And then my value horse in the race, I was really impressed the way he got the job done last time out. He was pushed up in the ratings from a 98 to a 107, which could be a true mark for him. But I'm hoping that he's better than the 107 that the handicapper gave him last time out, and that's horse number 3, Fire Alley. This will be a true test of his ability. He's way out at the weights, Fire Alley, but you just think that he may be starting up his engine now the way he won last time out. So he'll be my roughie in the race. But we're all in here. Race number 5, horse number 4, do it again. And then Rael's values number 9, Hoedspruit, and I like horse number 3, Fire Alley, for the minor placings. Right, we're done and dusted with race number 5. The Glorious Goodwood Premier Trophy, 1800 meters, a Group 2, and one would think, do it again, just needs to arrive at Kenilworth on Saturday. Okay, race number 6 now is the Cartier Baddock Stakes. It's a weight for age race. A Group 1 over 1800 meters. Let's firstly touch on that best weighted column and get Rael's views. Number 2, Captain's Ransom, well clear at 126. 3, Princess Kala at 118. Then She's a Keeper at 116. Chansonette at 110, and Marina at 108. Rael, Captain's Ransom, Justin Snate, and Richard Fourie. We know that she is an absolute star on her day. What's your thoughts of her going 1800 meters?
Sure, Deez. She's only won up to 1600, so the 1800 meter trip is a question mark, whereas horses like She's a Keeper and Marina have won past 1800. So I'm going to side with those two in this lineup, but I do have the utmost respect for Captain's Ransom, and she's a smashing filly. She could blow this field away. She could love the step up in trip, and she could win in a canter for all that we know. So she's definitely going to be there, but I much prefer the value that She's a Keeper has and the 4-horse Marina offer.
This horse, Captain's Ransom, I started off with the best weighted column because you can't read into a rating of a 126 over this 1800 meter trip. We're not suggesting, and we're not saying in any way that she's going to be less effective over 1800 meters, but the fact is she's got that mark up to 1600 meters, which she is deadly over. She's absolutely deadly up to 1600 meters. So you are going to have to take a stance. Do you think she's going to be better than a 126 over 1800 meters? You think she'll run close to that over 1800 meters? No doubt she'll see out the distance, but the question is she going to be as effective over a furlong further than she's been over 1600 meters? And that decision you're going to have to be the judge on. I'm willing to take a chance here, Rael, because I think that it all depends on the way the pace is going to be. If they're going to set a hot pace and, she doesn't get to maybe racing up handy or to the front and dictate matters, if the pace is going to be hot, she could be coming up for air and she could be vulnerable over 1800 meters. All depends on the pace. When you had a look at the race, do you see much pace in the race? A horse like Pretty Betty can go hard up front.
Yes, Pretty Betty is a front runner, and she's obviously going to have to overcome that wide draw of Stallgate 10. So she's likely to go up there. And I thought maybe even the 10-horse Jet for Time, well drawn with Anthony Andrews, bottom weight with only 54. She's a filly that I think that she's going to go up there, and she could, well, be the pacemaker in the race for stable companion Marina.
It's all about tactics. The other jockeys, the other stables know that the champ Crimson Captain's Ransom now going beyond a mile, they're going to make a work for it. I have no doubt that is going to be the plan. We know that in Cape Town, they can go canter sprint, but I don't think it's going to happen in this race. I really don't think so it's going to happen in this race. I think they're going to make her work for it. And if she sees out the distance, she could show us what a star she is over 1800 meters. You touched on She's a Keeper, horse number 1, Garrett Van Zyl, going down with runners for the weekend. And he's taken down this horse that's had 2 very good prep runs. She's a Keeper. And she is a smashing filly. She had a very late start to her career, but she hasn't put a foot wrong throughout. She is the winner of the gold bracelet as well, over 2,000 meters. No stamina doubts with her. Have you watched both her warm-up runs leading up to this race? Did she catch your eye?
Yes, she did. When she ran over the sprinting trip of 1,200, that was a smashing run, I thought. She went up against the boys and she only got beaten just over 3 lengths. She was the fastest finish on that occasion, so I thought it was a really nice run. And then last time out, I think she may have just needed another run to tighten up. And I think over 1800, she's going to be at peak fitness and she's going to be ready, primed to go very, very close in this lineup.
Yeah, she's definitely earned a rating over, up to 2,000 meters. So I had a word with Garrett Van Zyl, who's down in the Cape. Of course, this show being recorded earlier for Saturday, but I had a chat to him during the course of the week, and he was blown away. The way she's loved the climate and the way she's settled in Cape Town, and he's hoping for a massive run from number 1, She's a Keeper. Princess Kala, we have to give a mention to Anton Marcus, will rider. He's won on this Daughter of Flower Alley. What you make of the distance with her as well? When I pulled out her profile, her wins have been over 1,200 and 2 wins over 1,400 meters. But she's run well up to 2,000 meters, which was the Will Lavington.
Yes, like Captain's Ransom, another horse that hasn't won past 1,800 meters. So I'd like to see how she does go in this lineup. It was a really nice run last time out. Yes, Captain's Ransom did beat her, but Princess Kala, it was her first run since the KZN season. And I thought maybe she would have needed it a touch. She's going to be a much fitter horse here, and she could, well, go very, very close in this lineup. But I just prefer the 1, She's a Keeper, and the 4, Marina, to Princess Kala and Captain's Ransom in this field.
Coming to Marina, she's won over 1,600, she's won over 1,800, she's won over 2,400 meters. She's classy. On what she's taken on and what she's beaten, this is a step up for her.
Yes, it definitely is a step up in class, but last time out, I was really encouraged by the way that she won last time out. She really ran on strongly over 1,800 meters. She's got racing fitness on her side. It's a 4th run after a rest. She's proven over the distance, 5 tries over the course and distance for 3 wins and 1/3. Aldo de Mea knows her extremely well, 6 rides for 4 wins. She's neatly drawn in gate 3. If a stable companion does go out to set the pace, it's going to be set to suit her. And I think that Marina, she's going to be running on really strongly. She's a filly that doesn't need to be at the back end of the field. She can go handy or she can sit at the back. So she's fairly versatile when it comes to riding style. So I think that Marina is going to go very close in this lineup. And at around 7-1 offers you some nice value, I think.
Now, if you like Marina, what puts you against horse number 7, which is Rain in Newmarket? Because there was simply not much to choose between them on their last start. I think the guys out there that are in the camp of Rain in Newmarket, they'll be liking what you're saying about Marina.
Yes, absolutely. I made Rainy Newmarket the upset type in the race. The only concern for me is that, yes, last time out she may have not lost start, but her runs prior to that she was losing start at the gate, and it cost her in quite a few. She's run 8 seconds out of her 11 career starts, and she could well be the upset type at around 14-1 with Samang Kumalo in the saddle. The race could be run to suit her if the pace is on. She's going to be a filly that's going to be flying home late on. She's been the fastest to finish in quite a few of her starts. But I just feel that Marina, she's progressive, she's improving all the time, and she could well have the beating of Rennie Newmarket, even though there wasn't much to choose between the two last time out.
Yeah, the thing that really catches my eye about Rennie Newmarket is the way she can turn on the speed. She can sit wherever Samanga Kumala feels comfortable in the running. It's a small field of 10 that'll go to post. I suspect that, if she jumps on terms, she doesn't lose ground, that she could be sitting, I would say midfield could be ideal for her, because if she's within striking distance turning to the straight, she was the fastest finisher last time out, went second to Marina. I think this 1800 meter trip, now that she is in superb form. What's it now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's it? 2, 4. 5 seconds on the bounce. Surely she's knocking hard on the door, and she must have a serious winning chance if the top ones, horses like Captain's Random, She's a Keeper, Princess Kala, and Marina are not up to the task at hand. It will be no surprise to see this filly win it. And then Chansonnet for Unray Nell and Platina Racing and Grand Fanikak. We'll have to give her a mention because she beats an odds-on shot in the world's sports betting fillies guineas last time out. She was a shock result. I mean, I'm going to say that because I was all in that day with Desert Miracle, who was running around in green, etc., but taking nothing away from the way she was ridden and the way she won last time out.
It's absolutely superb ride from Grand Fanikak. He's drawn well once again in gate 1, as he was last time out when he beat Desert Miracle. As you mentioned, was a shock result, went off at around 16-20 to 1 in the market. If this was over 1600, I'd be slightly more confident because that's where 2 career victories have come over. But I think she's an improving 3-year-old daughter of Vercingetorix, and she must go very, very close in this lineup.
Well, we've given them all their airtime, and you're either going to be in the camp of Captain's Ransom, but I'm sure that there will be many out there who will be looking for some type of result in the exotics. Raheel is certainly one of them. I am in that camp as well. And please don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of Captain's Ransom. I've watched all her victories. She's an absolute superstar. We wish the connections all the best. But this is about trying to catch the exotics on Saturday, and you have to take a stance. And this is one of the races, Raheel, do you agree, where we're going to try and beat the top one, who's trading at around even money at the time of recording the show?
Yes, absolutely. If you can banker do it again in race 5, you can afford to go slightly wide in race number 6, and hopefully we can beat Captain's Ransom.
So you're saying if you're not a Captain's Ransom fan, there's lots of value to go around, and your selection is going to be She's a Keeper?
Yes, absolutely. He's looking for a massive run from the one horse She's a Keeper. She's got a scintillating turn of foot, and I think that she can go very close.
Well, Justin Snate, he's got the A team, the B team, the C team, the D team, the E team. He's got all his teams out for the Festival of Racing at Kenilworth on Friday and Saturday. And we expect nothing but the best to see his horses turned out and the best performances from them on both days. And on Saturday, he'll be hoping for a double, races 5 and 6, where he saddles Do It Again in race 5, and he saddles the favorite in race number 6, the classy Captain's Ransom. But we're going to take a stance and say that she could be vulnerable over 1800 meters, and I'll be rooting for the boy from KZN who's traveled down. He's earmarked his filly for this race. She's a Keeper, who's had 2 good prep runs. Bernard Fader up, and hope she can get the job done for us locals in Gold Circle country, that She's a Keeper. That looks to be the value in the race. Princess Kala is to be respected. Marina and Rain in Newmarket looks to have obvious chances as well if we don't have a fancied result here in race number 6. And then we move along to the main event, the top liner for both days. It is one of the premier weight for age races in the country, and this race is the Lomarans Queen's Plate over 1600 meters. Really nice to see the defending champion take his place in the race as a 3-year-old winning the race. That's horse number 2, Jet Dark, the son of Trippy. And of course, we got Rainbow Bridge in the race. He's had 3 tries at this race. In 2019, he ran 3rd behind Do It Again. In 2020, he ran third behind Vardy. And last year, at the top of this preview, we saw the rerun of last year's race. He ran second to Jet Dark. Linebacker is in the race. The Vodacom Durban July winner, Comet Tidung, is in the race. We got an up-and-coming horse like Warrior in the race. And off the balance, well, they'll be hoping to make their presence felt. Rael, when you look at this field and you look at the lineup, the first thing, I know you're going to touch on the best weighted column, because the best horse in the race, just marginally ahead of a horse like Jet Dark, and then Comet Tidung and Linebacker. Is it his time now? You know, I mentioned that he's run 3 times in this race. He's there. He's run places. Is it his year to win?
I would like to think so, Dees. He's well drawn in gate 2. Richard Fourie knows him extremely well. 5 rides for 4 wins, and he ran a second last time out. He was given a good ride, not a hard ride last time out when Seeking the Stars won. I thought Anton Marcus rode a superb race to steal them. At the top of lane, he just skipped, and that's probably where he did win the race. Rainbow Bridge, he ran on really nicely. He got the better of Linebacker in that race, and I think that he's going to go close in the lineup. The pace looks to be on. He's going to get into a nice position, and his turn of foot is something else.
When it comes to these classy horses, you know, guys talk about preps into a race, but when it comes to these top horses, these great horses, these horses that win group races and give us all these wonderful memories, the trainers get it down to a fine art. You know, some guys may say, he had 1 run, it's his 2nd run back. Will that ever affect a horse like this?
I don't think so. Before, I know Eric Sands did mention that his 2nd run after a layoff used to be his flat run, but he's had some time off the track. He's run plus 2 stats reads, 7 runs for 3 wins, so I don't think he's going to have an issue with that, and I think he's going to be tuned for this race, and he should go very close.
If I had to put a question to you, between the Lomarans Queen's Plate and the World Sports Betting Met, which will be his main mission?
I would like to see him win the Queen's Plate. It's a race that he hasn't won. I would love to see him also win the Vodacom Durban July.
You want it all, right? You want it all for Rainbow Bridge.
Absolutely. He's such a nice horse, and he's done it. He's done a lot for his connection. So I think the Queen's Plate, he's likely to be the aim. He's won the Met last year, so probably add the Queen's Plate to his cabinet, and I think that he's going to go close. Last year, Eric Sands, same prep. He went into the Greenpoint Stakes, into the Queen's Plate, into the Met. Could be the same this year. He ran in the Greenpoint Stakes where he ran 2nd to Seeking the Stars, Queen's Plate, and then into the Met. So hopefully he could get the double, the Queen's Plate and the Met. But I'll be rooting for him to get the Queen's Plate.
Yeah, well, the Rael's all in. I can just see it in his voice. He's got a twinkle in his eye when he speaks about Rainbow Bridge, and why not? He's a superb horse. He's a dual winner of the World Sports Betting Met. He won it in 2019. He won it in 2021, giving Luke Ferraris a big win. And he also ran 2nd, it was in 2020. Yeah, that was behind One World, a Vaughan Marshall runner. But Rael's hoping that he can add the Group 1 Lomarans Queen's Plate to his name. Now, the defending champion is horse number 2, Jet Dark. A superb horse on his day, a brilliant horse on his day. Ended off his KZN campaign in fine style, of course, winning on the 31st of July, our Gold Cup race meeting, the feature race meeting that brings down the curtain on the KZN champion season, where he beat Catch 22. Can he defend his crown?
He can, Dees, he can. He's a horse that has his 2nd run after a rest. He will be much fitter. Rest plus 2 stats rate, 3 runs for 2 wins. And with Samangu Kumalo in the saddle, who's riding at the top of his game, I think that Jet Dark could be a real contenders lineup. But I feel he could be held by the likes of Rainbow Bridge and Linebacker on the last meeting between them.
Now, that last start, we're just going to take it for a horse like this, that a run to bring him on. He loves the course. He's the defending champion. He demands the utmost respect. Comet Tidung, the Vodacom Durban July winner. And what a win it was from him as well. Gavin Larena up. Last time out, there were excuses. Now, I'm not suggesting in any way that he could have got past Warrior, but he did not have the best of runs that day.
Yes, and I think that you can expect a much better effort from the July winner, Kometi Dung, in this lineup. Gavin knows him much better now. He's running him 2 times. Last time out was a prep run, obviously, into this race, and he wasn't beaten far. He wasn't disgraced. He had to give Warrior 2 kgs on that occasion, and today they meet at level weights of 60 kgs. So it could well turn the tables around. He could turn the tables around with Warrior, and I'm looking for a nice run from Kometi Dung. Whether he can win this race, I'm not convinced, but I think that he should be in the placings for sure.
Well, all these horses have their racing fans throughout the country, but I think down in Cape Town, there'll be a lot of guys rooting for Kometi Dung. Of course, a dream story, a story made of dreams for owner Ashwin Reynolds, winning the Vodacom Durban July. And wouldn't he love to add this race to his name as well? And Kometi Dung, 2,000 meters, comfortably 2,200 meters, the Vodacom Durban July, has won over the course and distance. Gavin Lerena get on superbly well with him. You ignore his chances at your peril, but I'm sure many that will be playing the exotics because of the story that this horse has brought to the races wouldn't be discounting his chances at all. Horse number 3, Kometi Dung. Now, line back up. He's got a faultless record, Raheel. You just have to have a look at it. Winner of the Cape Derby, winner of the KZN Guineas, winner of the Daily News, touted to be very hard to beat. Yes, very hard to beat in the Vodacom Durban July 2021, where he ran second. He was beaten by Kometi Dung. What did you make of his comeback run the other day in the Green Point Stakes? I thought between himself and Rainbow Bridge, there was not much that separated them. You briefly touched on the brilliance of Anton Marcus winning that race start to finish, but there wasn't much that separated Rainbow Bridge and Linebacker in that prep run.
I think that was a pleasing comeback run. I'm sure Vaughan Marshall and the connections would have been pleased with the effort. He ran third, wasn't beaten far by the winner, Seeking the Stars, and wasn't beaten far by Rainbow Bridge. Craig Zaki riding for the first time, so unlike Rainbow Bridge, Jetta, Kometi Dung, where the jockeys do know the horses, this is Craig Zaki's first time aboard the horse, whereas Grant van Niekerk knows Linebacker really well. So I'd like to see how he does go in this lineup. I think that he's going to be a real contender. He's well drawn in gate 3. He's super consistent. He's hard, as you mentioned, his form is hard to fault, and Linebacker should be right there at the finish.
It's all about opportunities. It's all about breaks. It's all about getting a chance, which could be a turning point in your career. Not to say that Craig Zaki hasn't had feature race success. Yes, he had, but he's got a prime opportunity here to ride one of the stars during the Cape season, which is Linebacker, who is prepping for the World Sports Betting Met. So it's a golden opportunity that Craig Zaki has picked up here. I don't see any issue with him handling the horse. If you watch this horse and the way he races, he's not a difficult ride. He's not a ride that's going to be complicated in the running. He's going to sit, he's going to travel well, and he's going to give you at the business end of the race, number 4, Linebacker. His main mission will no doubt be the World Sports Betting Met, but will he be a surprise result here? I think not. In fact, if you go and have a look at the anti-post betting market for the World Sports Betting Met, he is on top of the boards in most betting shops. Number 4, Linebacker. Well, why not? Take a chance. If you like Linebacker for the World Sports Betting Met, why not do the double? That could be huge odds if he arrives in leg number 1 in your double, which is the Lomarans Queen's Plate. Of the balance of the runners, we've touched on the principles, the main contenders for the main event. Of the balance, there's just one other horse that keeps me interested, and that's Warrior. He's unexposed at this level. We know that he made it 3 on the bounce when he won the, the World Sports Betting Variety Club Mile, before knocking his form back in the World Sports Betting Legal Eagle Stakes. But it was really nice to see him put that run behind him. It was, good horses are entitled to flat runs, Raheel, and I'm just going to put it down to him not being himself on the day. I don't know what was the excuses. There was nothing obvious reported in the comments column in the form guide that I'm using, which is the computer form. But really nice to see him put that behind him and win the Cape Mile last time out.
Yes, it was a really nice win. I thought he beat a nice field on that occasion, beaten Rascallion, who has come out to win, and he had beaten Committee Dunk. So he beat a nice field. And Warrior, he could be a horse that's on the up. He's won 4 starts out of his 8. He's a 4-year-old. Yes, he has to carry level weights with most of the top horses, but he could show them that, he's no slouch on his day, and he could go well in this lineup. But more for a trifecta quartet chance for me.
Yep, trifecta quartet chance for Ryle. If you're not convinced with the top horses, some of them prepping and aiming themselves to the World Sports Betting Cape Met, then this is the type of horse that could upset Anton Marcus up. Anton Marcus, the man for the big occasion of the balance of the runners. We're not going to discount this horse as Seeking the Stars, because we know how brilliantly ridden he was last time out to win, setting the fractions up front, judging the pace, skipping at the right time, staying on when 2 big guns were chasing him home in Rainbow Bridge and Linebacker. But that was a super win. Can he hold them again this time round?
I think it's going to be tough, because last time out he was the pacemaker in the race. He was a horse that could go to the front, whereas in this race there are quite a few front runners. On that note, Deez, I want to ask you a question. Where do you see the pace coming from? Do you think the pacemaker is going to be the 5 horse Seeking the Stars, the 7 After the Rain, or do you think Pomp and Power could go up and set it for his stable companion, Jet Dark?
None of these horses are going to match Seeking the Stars for early pace. I mean, that's the way he races. That's the way he wins his races. He's got a strong boy up in Bernard Fadeb who'll see where his dangers are, who have watched his win last time out and tried to replicate it, because that's the only way of winning it. He's beaten the 2 big guns last time out, over 1,600 meters. And this time round, whilst you could argue that, he's not receiving the 2 kgs that he did last time out, which makes it a bit tougher when he's going to be coming up for air over the final 200 meters. But I see him in front. That's his recipe for success, and that's not going to change. Yes, a horse like After the Rain, the striking grey in the race, he's very quick. The reason it's not the ideal race for him, I've had discussions with Garrett Van Zyl about the race and how, why he's taking his place. He said the owners who are absolutely passionate about racing and want to try and have runners in feature races, when they saw their horse drew pole position, they're wanting to have a runner in the race. So it's not the ideal race for After the Rain. You mentioned a horse like Pomp and Power. Yes, he can go to the front, but can he match strides with a horse like Seeking the Stars? I doubt it. So I see the pace with number 5, Seeking the Star. I see it a decent one. And then the principals, the main contenders, chasing him home. Ryle, you firmly in the camp of Rainbow Beach. Is he a banker for you?
Personally, I'd say yes.
From your heart?
Yes, from my heart.
From your head?
From my head, I'd throw in the likes of Jet Dark and Linebacker.
Jet Dark, Linebacker. Do not discount Committee Dunk, the Cape Townians. They will be in full force in Cape Town for this horse, pulling off another big one for Ashton Reynolds. That has to go into the pick 6. And then my roughie, I'm going to include the horse. It may be a costly perm, including one more horse, but I'm going to include horse number 6, Warrior, the unexposed horse at this level. But no doubt, Ryle's on the right horses. Rainbow Bridge, Linebacker, Jet Dark, the defending champion, Committee Dunk, and Warrior get a mention from me in race number 7, which is the main event, the Lomarans Queen's Plate over 1,600 meters. And then we move along to the lucky last. The last feature race on the card will be race number 10. It's the Okapi Champions Cup. It's over 2,500 meters. And Ryle told me he's been studying up a storm trying to find the winner in this race, and he thinks he's found the right horse. This is all about pace. It's all about tactics. It's all about things working out for you on the day. And usually the fastest finisher wins these staying races. It's all about stamina, and most of these horses will have no stamina doubts. Which is your top choice, Ryle?
I like a bit of the 7-year-old Double Mint. He's a son of Twice Over, well drawn in gate 2. Really nice run last time out when beaten by Rascallion, and Do It Again finished in front of him on that occasion. I'm expecting the form line to be Frank early on the day, who would do it again. And I think that Doubleman's going to go close in the lineup. There looks to be a decent pace in this race. 1-from-1 over the course and distance, which is the 2,500 meters. Richard Fourie knows him extremely well. 8 rides for 3 wins. Nice prep into the race. He ran 8 on his comeback run. He ran 3rd last time out. 3rd run after rest. 7 runs for 3 wins. And I think that Doublemint is going to go close in the lineup. He should offer you some nice value at around 6-7 to 1 in the market. And I think that he's going to run a real cracker in this lineup.
You could be onto something here because he was not in the race. Silver Horse, who was the anti-post favorite on all sides, was actually withdrawn. He was scratched. And then the Snates supplemented this horse as a backup because Richard Fourie was on Silver Horse. And Richard Fourie is now on Double Mint. Yes, he's a 7-year-old, but we've seen these horses that stay and that's got the stamina. They haven't got tired legs. They got legs that go the distance, legs that go the comrades. And this is one of them, Double Mint. He hasn't won for 315 days, but Raheel likes the prep that he's coming into the race. It's certainly not cut and dry. It's not a one-horse race. It is a race of 2,500 meters with 9 runners going to post. And all these runners will be hoping for the best on the day. Let's give them a mention. Number 2, Crimson King. Glenn Cotson teams up with Anton Marcus. He is the winner of the Winter Derby, a horse that stays well. He brings solid form into the race. Last time out, I must admit, I had a look at that race and I was not in the camp of that horse called Chrome Yellow. I didn't think he can win the race. Everything just went according to plan. And in these stage races, it usually can happen. Everything went according to plan. He won a really good race. But he was one of the horses that was moving up smartly, Crimson King.
Yes, absolutely. He was favourite on that occasion. And like you, I also didn't expect Chrome Yellow to win the race. It was his first run after quite some time off the track. Whereas Crimson King had the fitness on his side. But it was a nice run nonetheless. Anton Marcus gets in the saddle, and I think that Crimson King can go well in this lineup over the 2,500 meter trip. From that run, he comes out the best at the weights with only 58.5, and I think that Crimson King is definitely one of the leading lights in this lineup.
Black Knapp will have his followers on that Chrome Yellow form line. There wasn't much that separated, himself. Crimson King, even Holy Warrior wasn't too far back behind him. And you can add a Salvatore Mundi as well. Magnificent 7, he was some way behind him, but in his defense, so when we come to him, I'm going to say that he just needed runs. He may not be himself, but he's a horse that's been on and off racing, Magnificent 7. But coming back to a horse like Black Knapp, he must have a serious chance of winning this on his last start. If you're in the camp of a Crimson King, then they were all on top of each other for the minor positions, and he was certainly one of them. This horse, Magnificent 7, when you look at his profile, he's had 2 long breaks in his career, May 2019 to July 2020, and then November 2020 to November 2021. So he's obviously had issues in his career. The reason I give him a mention, Raheel, because he's a 7-time winner with all those breaks. One wonders what this horse could have achieved if he was a sound, fit horse.
Yes, absolutely. He's won some nice races, and as you mentioned, if he was sound, he could have won quite a few more races for the connections. And definitely with Rachel Venica aboard, who's riding at the top of the game, I think that Magnificent 7 must have some sort of place chance in this lineup. I don't think he could quite win, but definitely a horse that I'd include into trifectas and quartets. A horse that I want to get your opinion on these is a 5-horse one-way traffic. Now, prior to his last run, he went to the front on both occasions and he won both those races. What do you make of his last run where they elected to give him a chance, whether it was by design to drop him out and see if he would run on at the business end when he had bottom weight? What do you make of his chances in this field?
I just don't know what happened last time out, because it was a run that was unexpected the way he was ridden. Whether that was the instructions or not, I haven't had the chance to speak to Samanga Kumalo or Justin Snate about what happened last time out, because his 2 previous runs, he showed that when dictating and when setting the fractions up front, that he can be deadly when he has things his own way. And when he had a low weight last time out, I actually, I don't know what to make of it, because whilst he was, the word is not, troubled going into the business end of the race, but he just got a bit awkward and things didn't work out for him over the final 200 meters, which was not, something that cost him winning the race. Maybe it cost him finishing much closer, but whether they tried to drop him out and make him run on, which he didn't do, I don't think that plan is going to change now to try and race him up handy. I think the plan is going to be, because Samanga has got the ride again. He's got 55.5 on his back. It's a nice galloping weight. Let him dictate. There's no stamina doubts. That's the way he enjoys to be ridden, a number 5 one-way track. But we're just trying to make an assessment of the way we see the race on form. Of course, trainers, jockeys, owners, they got tactics on the day. Whatever they choose to opt, whether it works out on the day or not, it'll all depend when those gates open. But I'm in agreement to Dryer last time out. Whether it was by design or not, we cannot tell. But it wasn't what was expected on his 2 previous runs. He's a serious contender, and I've been keeping a close eye on the anti-post betting market. This is the horse that's attracting all the betting support.
Yes, absolutely. Last night when I went to check the betting, I just wanted to see what price Doublemint was at, and then I saw one-way traffic at the top of boards. This morning I checked again. It's been more support for one-way traffic, so I'm sure the connections are expecting a huge run from him.
Yeah, when that type of money comes on these big race days, especially when these stables that are bringing out a flood of runners for both days, it usually gives you the indication on which horse is fancied from their runners that they have in that race, whether they got couplings of 2, 3, 4 runners. But if there's one horse that's consistently being backed, it's usually, I say usually because it's not an exact science. We've seen bomb stable companions we beat more fancied runners, and that's racing. We take it on the chin and we move on. But in this race between Snake's runners, number 5, one-way traffic, is the money horse. Number 6, Salvatore Mundi. You were telling me off air that he started to catch your eye last time out over the final 200 meters, because he caught my eye as well.
Yes, he seemed to enjoy the step up in trip to 2,500. It was his first run after rest, and he was the fastest finish on that occasion in a time of 24.3. And I think with Muzieni aboard from a 9 draw, he's likely going to be dropped out, given a chance, and we'll see him running on at the business. And I think you can ignore his penultimate run when one-way traffic did beat him. I don't think Durbanville is a course that he enjoys. All 3 of his career victories have come at Kenilworth. He's run 3 seconds at Kenilworth as well. So I think that Salvatore Mundi could be some nice value in the race.
Between Southern Star and Holy Warrior, on their last start, I'm talking about the run on the 20th of November, where Southern Star beat Holy Warrior. What you make of those two?
I was a bit disappointed with Holy Warrior's performance on that day. I thought he would go extremely close to winning that race, but I think over the 2,500 meters he could get the better of Southern Star on this occasion.
If you had a preference between the two, I'll be with Holy Warrior ahead of Southern Star. Do you agree?
Yes, I'd be in the same camp, please.
And then Warrior Bling, we're giving all these runners I mentioned. Grant van Niekerk. I mean, you ignore the jockey at your peril. This boy, he's having a wonderful time of it down in Cape Town. Grant, draw 1, 54 kgs. Whilst we know that, it's a step up for him. Look at the runners that he's been facing. His average ratings have been 76, 71, 76, 76. This is a huge step up for him. But Grant van Niekerk, for the big occasion, he's certainly a man for the job.
Absolutely, and we've seen it in times and before. So I think the Warrior Bling, he is held in this lineup. So I'd just like to see how he goes, and when he runs in a company more of his class, and I think he will be competitive. But this is a massive step up in class for him.
Well, we've given you all we've given each horse a mention here. It is a Group 3. It is over 2,500 meters. All the best to each of the connections in this race. Rael, at the top of the show, you're not changing your mind after discussing all the runners. Nothing has changed with Doublemint?
No, I'm still in the camp of Doublemint. I'm hoping Black Nap can finish second. Crimson King for third, and then I'll include Salvatore Mundi for fourth. And what's your choice in the race, Dees?
Yeah, I think I'm similar to you. I don't have double mint in my top three, I must admit. I see it Black Nap and Crimson King fighting it out. I respect the money totally for number 5, one-way traffic. This horse, Magnificent 7, I just have a soft spot for him. And of course, we are not giving Rachel Vinegar a mention. Obviously, I say we haven't given her a mention. It's a big weekend for us. She got chances. What a thing it'll be for her to close off the last race on the Queen's Plate Festival. Closing it off, Rachel Vinegar on the stand being interviewed. That'll be brilliant.
Absolutely. And coming home with a grade 3, coming back to KZN, sure, she'll be booming.
We'll be following her with confidence in KZN on Sunday if she has to arrive with number 4, Magnificent 7. But it looks like a tricky race to close it off. If I had to say which is the runner that I like, it is between Black Nap and Crimson King, and no prizes for getting. Why? I'll be choosing Crimson King ahead of Black Nap. And that is a wrap of the 4 feature races. Been wonderful previewing those feature races. And when it comes to these feature races, it's something different. It's far ahead of the usual that we preview, which are maiden plates and handicaps. It's exciting because we're talking about top class horse flesh, and it's going to be a fantastic Saturday. By the time the viewers are watching this show, Friday will be over, and we'll be looking forward to Saturday, and you'll be looking forward to crossing that bridge with a rainbow.
Absolutely. Tomorrow morning when I wake up, that's all I'm going to look forward to. So looking forward to a nice day's racing both Friday and Saturday, and hopefully we guided the public in the right way and right direction, and hopefully the Rainbow Bridge can come through.
Rainbow Bridge is a big fan, our good friend Raheel, and Do It Again looks to be an absolute nap as well in that Premier Trophy. And thanks for watching this Gold Circle TV preview show for Saturday, Lomarans Queen's Plate Day. It's for Saturday, the 8th of January, and until next time, from the entire team, Raheel, Gold Circle TV, and myself, Dees Dayanan, you take care. Salani Kashle.